Hi everyone, back with another layout today. This layout started off in a totally different direction with different papers. I pulled out my All Is Calm set, ready to scrap some Christmas photos with that. And then this typeset paper was sitting on top of it and I just got sidetracked. I saw this matte paper, it's in the typeset DSP pack, specialty pack, and I just thought it looked like an old map that Father Christmas would use. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought it and I went with it. So I love the layout, how it turned out. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so just before I used some cherry cobbler re-inker with some alcohol ink. I just bought the old, what did I buy? Icicle to put in with it. I was a little bit worried it might really blend into this paper because it's really thin paper, this specialty paper, but it didn't bleed too much, so it was really good and I got some nice splatters. So that's what I did there, and now I'm just laying up some paper from the Trim the Tree stack. And I showed before on the camera, I sanded the edges of my photo, which I always do, and I realized that I probably don't actually show it on the camera, so you may not know what I actually do. So when I was holding my photo up to the camera before, that's what it is, to show you that little nice thin white that you get from sanding the edges. Okay, so now I'm using the Fancy Foil Designer Vellum in gold, which I absolutely love, and the gold stripe I just think is so Christmassy. I love it. So I cut that behind as a banner, and then the Trim the Tree pieces of paper, I just had these out. I pulled them out for a different layout, and I had a couple of pieces where it was just offcuts, and other pieces that were full that I thought I'd use and I didn't use, so I just used what was already out on my desk. I didn't pull anything else out. And just laying that up and just inked the edges with some chocolate chip to define all the edges. And I just cut some of the papers up for layering, just for the top and bottom. Because I'm just using this single photo, I just wanted to bulk that up a little bit. Yeah, so the photo I'm doing today is a photo from, this is 2011, so it's a while ago. I have scrapbooked other photos that were taken this time, but I hadn't actually scrapbooked about the reason why that Christmas tree is so tall. So it was because my son was, whatever, it would have been about 14 months old, and he was walking, and we were worried that he would pull down the Christmas tree if he was able to touch it, because he would want to just touch it. So we actually it's just a fake Christmas tree, so we only put the top leaves on, we didn't put the bottom ones on, and we actually then tied it up onto a coffee table and actually strapped it onto the coffee table. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just working out what embellishments I wanted to the side and where I wanted my journaling to go. So I pulled out one of the tags from the Tag a Bag set and thought about that over on the side. And I pulled out some punch outs that I had using the Christmas tree punch. I just had them lying over to the side of my desk, and I thought I'll just use them just to see if the size of them is exactly what I want, and then I could work out what I actually want to punch them out with or stamp them. So that's why I'm just playing all around with those white trees. And I pulled out one of the journaling spot parts from the Tag a Bag set too to put on that tag. So I was really happy with how those trees looked, and because it's about the Christmas tree, I wanted those trees on the layout. So I just grabbed out some of the leftover paper from the Trim the Tree stack and used those to punch out my trees. I just thought if I stamped them, it might be a little bit too much detail for this page, considering there's already a lot of pattern in that background paper. So just decided to cut it straight out with the punch and lay them up. I really liked how it turned out. I think I'll be using the tree on a lot more of my Christmas layouts this season. I love it. So simple as that. Of course, I inked everything up as well. I had to get some new daubers in my order this time. They're on my way to me because I use them so much, especially the brown ones. I use a dauber per colour, so there's generally, you know, a half dozen colours that I use all the time. So I probably actually have about 20 sitting in a case, but there's a few that I use all the time. So this chocolate chip one I use all the time, and because I'm running it down the edges of my paper, it actually puts little paper cuts into the little material bit that's on the dauber. So over a long period of time, using it a lot, you get lots of paper cuts and it starts getting all funky. So the good news is they're really cheap to buy, so I just replace them whenever they get that funkiness stage that I can't stand anymore. So I got some more coming. Okay, so here I'm just working out exactly where I want things to sit, and I thought, yep, this is how I want it, and I want my journaling to sit that way. So I'll go off in a minute and do my journaling. So basically I just typed it up on the computer. I don't like my handwriting, so I do type a lot on the computer. Type it up, print it out just on a piece of paper first, and then work out if it's going to fit in the box they want it to fit in. And then I just use some double-sided tape and put my paper that I want to actually print on over exactly where it's printed out on the piece of paper. So you can do that if you hold up to sunlight. If you just look through normal printer paper, it's see-through, so you can see exactly where it's going to sit on the proper piece, and then run it through the printer again, and then it just seems to work. So I went away and did that, and then just stuck it down onto my tag. And I had pulled out some of the gold sequins and threw some of them around the page to see if that's what I wanted for it to be at the end. So I got out some of the gold baker's twine and just tied it to the tag because it just needed a little bit of something to finish that off. And so I'm really happy that the gold vellum in the background, if I use the gold sequins and then this gold trim, all that gold ties in together, and it's very Christmassy, which I love. So now I've just I've glued down all my layers on top of everything, so I haven't actually stuck it down to the back yet. So everything's quite flat, so I decided that I'd use the dimensionals to sit the whole thing up a little bit. So looking back, I probably would have actually dimensionaled up some of the layers instead of the whole thing, but that's alright, I went with it. Life's too short. Get things scrapped. Okay, so that's about, oh no, it's not about it for the layout. I've got to do my title yet. I forgot about that. So I grabbed out the letter stickers from the Seasonal Sampler Project Life accessory pack. I need to shorten that name. So I pulled out some of those letters and I wrote, it's going to be called Bottomless Tree. So I did that in the red letters with the Bottomless, and I've just stuck that on some baker's paper, whatever you call that stuff that it doesn't stick to. Just on that so I could work out where I want it to go. And then I used some of the leftover DSP from the Trim the Tree sack that I had out. And I used my little letter framelits and cut out the word tree. And then I decided to ink those edges as well. Gotta ink the edges. Okay, so now that everything's sort of what I wanted, that's what I wanted for my title. Now I can work out exactly where I want it to go. So I definitely wanted to go across the tree somehow. I thought that worked really well. I thought about putting it in the right hand side of the tree, but then there was a bit of dead space over between the journaling and the tree, so I wanted to fill that bit of dead space there. So I thought I would put it here and I ended up moving it just slightly upwards. So I worked out, I put that there and I put the tree underneath, which was great. Here I go. I'm putting the dimensionals. I just cut strips of the dimensionals to pop up my letters. So I cut some of this out because it took a little while to cut all the little pieces for the tree. So then I thought, so if I put Bottomless there and put the tree there, that would look really good, and it did, except I decided that I was actually going to put some little stars on top of my 3 trees. So I pulled out the sticker sheet from the seasonal sampler Project Life accessory pack with the little Christmas stickers, and there was 3 little snowflake star type stickers in there, and I thought that would be perfect for the top of my trees. So I put the little star at the top of the tree and then realised that my letters were a little bit too far down. So I tried moving my letters around, but it didn't look right. So I ended up having to just move up my title just a little bit. So I moved them up. So yes, so those little stickers, the little star snowflake stickers, look really cute as the top of my trees there. So I was really happy with how they turned out. And of course I had to ink the edges of those too, so everything blends in. So I'm really happy with how this layout turned out. It was one that I didn't know where I was going with to start with. There was completely different things I'd pulled out. So you just never know. And the background paper is not actually a Christmas paper, but I really loved how it turned out. Okay, so thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget, if you're in the Brisbane area, I've got a crop coming up in October, so I'd love to see you come along to that. And you can check out all my details at scrapronnie.com. I normally have a blog post for each of these videos, and it will tell you all the products that I've used and where you can get them from. And I also blog some other bits and pieces at times, so jump on and have a look and leave some comments. Love to hear some comments. If you have any questions about anything in any of my videos, you can always leave me a comment, and I'll be back next time with another layout, probably the one using my All Is Calm paper, because it's still sitting here with the photos I want to scrap. Okay, alright, see you guys.